Welcome to the Shambles Market. We are standing in a large, open space right next to the famous medieval street. This area is a perfect example of how York's history of trade keeps evolving. For centuries, this entire space was a dense network of small buildings, service yards, and the slaughterhouses belonging to the butchers on the Shambles. This land was once dirty, messy, and filled with the noise of trade, but it wasn't an open market like it is now. The transformation began in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. As the city modernized, the old slaughterhouses were finally shut down. Slowly, the narrow, unhealthy alleys and service buildings were demolished. By the 1950s, this space was officially cleared and established as the Newgate Market, which is now known as the Shambles Market. It was created to provide a modern, open-air trading space, moving the traditional market from the overcrowded medieval streets like Pavement. Walk through the central aisles. This market is a direct continuation of the thousand-year-old tradition of commerce in this exact neighborhood. Though the original buildings are gone, the function of the land remains the same, a place for local people and travelers to exchange goods. On the edges of the market, look at the backs of the buildings that border the square. These are the rear walls of the historic properties on the Shambles and on Newgate. They show you where the old butcher yards ended and where the open market space begins. Notice the variety of stalls. You will find everything from fresh produce, jewelry, and crafts to local street food. This diverse mix reflects the traditional market atmosphere of a thriving medieval city, adapted for today. It is a constantly changing, dynamic space. We have walked from the hidden, narrow past of the Shambles onto the wide, bustling present of the market. This short walk shows the powerful force of trade that has continuously shaped York for 1,000 years. We finish here, surrounded by the sights and smells of a modern city market, built directly upon the economic engine of the medieval town. Look around. This area feels modern and airy, a sharp contrast to the cramped streets nearby. For most of York's history, this land was completely different. It was a dense network of service yards, sheds, and outbuildings belonging to the properties on the surrounding streets. If you had stood here several centuries ago, you would not have seen market stalls. You would have been standing amidst the necessary but unpleasant working infrastructure of the city, including the crucial slaughterhouses used by the butchers of the Shambles. The clearance of this area was a long process driven by public health. As sanitation standards rose in the late 19th century, the dense, unhygienic yards had to go. Slowly, these service buildings were demolished. The street that runs along the north side is called Newgate, and this open space became known as the Newgate Market. Its creation was a deliberate act of urban planning. The city needed a modern, centralized, and organized place for trade, moving it away from the chaotic street-side selling on medieval lanes. The market, now the Shambles Market, took its current shape in the mid-20th century. Walk through the central aisles. The stalls here represent the continuous thread of trade in York, a tradition almost 1,000 years old. The market's function is the same as it has always been, a place for local people and travelers to exchange goods and services. Look at the variety of the stalls. You find everything from fresh produce and flowers, linking back to the necessary trades of the countryside, to specialty stalls selling crafts and street food. This diverse mix echoes the traditional market atmosphere of a thriving medieval city. The market is a constantly changing organism. The traders are always adapting and responding to demand, much like the traveling merchants who brought their wares to this very spot centuries ago. On the edges of the market, notice the backs of the surrounding buildings. These are the rear walls of the historic properties. They show you exactly where the old butcher yards ended and where the new, open market space begins. This space also features the fascinating snickelways, those narrow passageways that lead directly into the Shambles. These were once simple paths between the buildings, but today they act like portals, guiding visitors from the bright, modern market straight back into the shadows of the 15th century. The market has recently gained an international boost due to its proximity to the Harry Potter-inspired street. The market provides the modern, commercial complement to the ancient history next door. We finish our walk here in the heart of the Shambles Market. This space represents the essential balance of the historic city, a necessary public space, cleared from the chaos of the medieval backyard, now serving as the vibrant, organized trading center that York continues to be. It is the economic heart beating right next to the city's historical soul.
Stop going to every stupid souvenir store. That's our last one.